Flicker the Firefly loved to shine his light. Every night he would venture out into the dark forest, his tiny body glowing like a miniature lantern. The other creatures of the forest admired his light, and he took great pride in illuminating the darkness. He danced between the trees, weaving intricate patterns in the air. His light was a beacon of hope and joy, guiding other insects and small animals through the night. Flicker felt a sense of purpose, knowing that his light made a difference. His tiny light twinkling brightly, he would often pause to admire the beauty of the forest. The leaves glistened with dew, and the shadows cast by his light created a magical, ever-changing landscape. Flicker felt at home in the forest, surrounded by the beauty he helped reveal. One night, Flicker felt something strange. As he flew through his usual path, he noticed his light flickering more than usual. He paused in mid-air, confused, and a bit worried. What was happening to his light? He blinked, but no light came. His light was gone. Panic set in as he tried to blink again and again, but the darkness remained. Flicker had never felt so vulnerable. Without his light, he was just another insect, lost in the vast, dark forest. Flicker felt a shiver of fear. The darkness seemed to close in around him, and he could hear the distant sounds of nocturnal creatures stirring. He had always been the one to bring light to the night, but now he was just another creature afraid of the dark. He was all alone in the dark. The familiar forest now seemed like an alien world, full of unseen dangers. Flicker felt a deep sense of loneliness and despair. He missed the comfort of his light, the way it made him feel safe and connected to the world around him. He missed his bright light. It had been his constant companion, his source of joy and pride. Without it, he felt incomplete, like a part of him was missing. Flicker longed for the days when he could light up the night and bring happiness to others. He missed seeing the world around him. The forest, once a place of wonder and beauty, was now a shadowy maze. Flicker struggled to navigate through the darkness, his tiny eyes straining to see even the faintest outlines of trees and plants. What if he couldn't find his light again? The thought filled him with dread. Flicker couldn't imagine a life without his light, without the ability to shine and bring joy to others. He resolved to find a way to restore his light no matter what it took. The journey ahead was uncertain, but Flicker knew he had to try. A tiny tear rolled down Flicker's cheek. He flew around in circles, hoping his light would magically reappear. But the forest remained dark, except for the distant stars twinkling above. Flicker knew he had to do something. He couldn't give up. He took a deep breath and decided to find his light again. He would search the whole forest if he had to. Flicker buzzed through the tall blades of grass, bumping into things in the dark. Suddenly, he heard a gentle voice. "Who's there?" It was Rosie the caterpillar munching on a leaf. "I've lost my light," Flicker said sadly. Rosie stopped munching and looked at Flicker with kind eyes. "Don't worry," she said, "I'll help you find it." Rosie and Flicker flew through the trees. They asked every creature they met if they had seen Flicker's light. Finally, they reached the tallest oak tree, where Oliver the owl lived. Oliver listened patiently to their story. He closed his eyes and thought for a moment. "The wind can carry lost things," he hooted softly. "Follow the wind, it might know where to find your light." Section 5. The Moon's Soft Glow. Rosie and Flicker thanked Oliver, the wise old caterpillar, for his guidance. Oliver had shared stories of the moon's magic and how it could help them find their way. With hearts full of hope, they set off on their journey. They flew higher and higher, following the gentle breeze that carried the scent of blooming night flowers. The forest below became a sea of shadows, and the stars above twinkled like tiny lanterns. The fireflies felt a sense of freedom and excitement as they ascended, their tiny wings working tirelessly. Soon, they were above the trees, bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The moon, with her serene and gentle light, seemed to welcome them. She smiled down at them, her face full of warmth and curiosity. "What are you two little ones doing up so high?" she asked in a voice that was as soft as a whisper but filled with ancient wisdom. Flicker, with a mix of shyness and determination, explained about his lost light. He spoke of the darkness that had taken over his glow and how he felt incomplete without it. The moon listened patiently, her soft light comforting them. She nodded understandingly and said, "Sometimes we lose our light, but it is never truly gone. It is just waiting to be found again." The moon's words filled Flicker with hope. He realized that his light was still within him, waiting to be rekindled. Rosie, always the supportive friend, encouraged him to believe in himself. The moon then shared a secret. To find your light, you must look within and embrace the journey. Trust in yourself and the friends who support you. With newfound determination, Flicker closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He felt the warmth of the moon's glow and the love of his friend Rosie. Slowly he began to feel a spark within him. It grew brighter and brighter until Flicker was glowing once more, even more brilliantly than before. Rosie and Flicker hugged, their lights intertwining in a beautiful dance of friendship and hope. With their spirits lifted and Flicker's light restored, the two friends thanked the moon for her wisdom and guidance. They began their descent back to the forest, the moonlight guiding their way. As they flew, they felt a deep sense of gratitude and joy, knowing that they had each other and the light within them to guide their path. The wind whispered something about a field of flowers, the moon said thoughtfully. Perhaps your light is hidden there. Flicker and Rosie felt a surge of hope. They thanked the moon and followed the wind's whispers. The wind pushed them gently forward, guiding them through the night sky. Below them, the forest gave way to a field bursting with colorful flowers. The field shimmered under the moonlit sky. Each flower glowed with a magical light. Butterflies danced between the petals, their wings painted with every color imaginable. Flicker had never seen anything so beautiful. He flew between the flowers, mesmerized by their beauty. Rosie flew beside him, her eyes wide with wonder. Suddenly Flicker stopped. He had been flying through the forest, his tiny wings buzzing with excitement. The night was dark, and the only light came from the stars twinkling above. Flicker loved the night, but tonight felt different. There was a chill in the air, and the forest seemed quieter than usual. He paused mid-air, his tiny body glowing faintly. What was this feeling? It was as if something was calling out to him, urging him to stop and listen. He felt a warmth inside him, a warmth that spread through his entire body. It started in his chest and radiated outwards, filling him with a sense of peace and comfort. Flicker had never felt anything like it before. It was as if the warmth was a message, a sign that he was not alone. He closed his eyes and let the feeling wash over him, embracing the warmth and the light it brought. He blinked, and to his surprise, a tiny light flickered back to life. It was a soft, gentle glow, but it was enough to light up the darkness around him. Flicker watched in awe as the light grew brighter and stronger, illuminating the forest floor below. He realized that the light was coming from within him, a reflection of the warmth he felt inside. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is always a light that can guide us. He was so happy, he spun in the air, his light shining brighter than ever before. The forest around him seemed to come alive with his joy, the trees swaying gently in the breeze and the leaves rustling softly. Flicker felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration that he had never experienced before. He flew higher and higher, his light casting a warm glow on everything it touched. He felt invincible, like he could conquer anything that came his way. He realized that even though he was scared of the dark, his friends helped him find his way. Flicker had always been afraid of the unknown, but now he understood that he didn't have to face it alone. His friends were there to support him, to guide him through the darkness, and help him find his light. He looked around and saw his friends glowing softly in the distance, their lights merging with his to create a beautiful, radiant glow. It was a reminder that together, they could overcome anything. He learned that true friends are always there to help, even in the darkest of times. They are the ones who lift us up when we are down, who light our way when we are lost, and who stand by our side no matter what. Flicker felt a deep sense of gratitude for his friends, knowing that their support and love had given him the strength to shine. He vowed to always be there for them, just as they had been there for him. And with that, Flicker flew off into the night, his light shining brightly, a beacon of hope and friendship. Flicker and Rosie flew back home, their hearts filled with joy. Flicker danced among the trees, his light a beacon of happiness. He had his light back, but more importantly, he had true friends. From that day on, Flicker never took his light for granted. He knew that even the smallest light could shine brightly, especially when surrounded by the love of friends.